This lecture will cover Chapter 9, which covers meiosis. Meiosis is very similar to mitosis, but there are some very unique distinguishing aspects of meiosis that distinguishes it from mitosis. So have you ever thought about what are the chances that there would be another human being like you on a planet? But believe it or not, because of a process called meiosis, two individuals, thus two parents, can create an offspring which are genetically different from themselves and all the other offspring produced. And essentially what happens is this meiosis process creates an enormous amount of diversity among animals and in humans, and more than 70 trillion different genetic combinations are possible just from the mating of two individuals. So in other words, meiosis ensures that you are unique. Statistically, it is unlikely that you'll ever be statistically or genetically the same as anyone else on the planet. And in humans, meiosis begins the process that produces the cells called gametes, and we'll learn about that later, which play an important role in this whole sexual reproduction aspect. In humans, sperm are the male gametes and eggs are the female gametes. In this lecture, I'll explain the purpose of meiosis. I'll describe it with respect to the human life cycle and define terms such as diploid, haploid, sister chromatids, and homologous chromosomes. And I'll talk about the process of synapses and crossing over. And I'll emphasize why these processes occur during meiosis. I would suggest that you pause here and review the videos that I have posted online, and once you've reviewed those videos, come back to the lecture, and periodically throughout my lecture I'll refer back to the videos. Meiosis is a form of nuclear division that is extremely important in sexual reproduction. Essentially, it reduces the number of chromosomes found in the gametes and creates genetic variation. So meiosis serves two major functions. It reduces chromosome number, shuffles the chromosome in the cell to produce genetically different gametes. Now, homolog chromosomes are classified as what we call autosomes and sex chromosomes. Humans have 46, that is the diploid or 2 in number total chromosomes. Each parent will contribute just one set of chromosomes, 23 haploid or N chromosomes to its offspring. So each pair is called a homologous chromosome or homologs. Humans have 23 pairs of homolog chromosomes, 22 are autosomal, and the remaining pair are sex chromosomes. So homologous chromosomes are members of a pair of chromosomes, and as I mentioned, they're also called homologs. They have the same size, shape, and construction based on the location of the centromere, and they contain the same genes for the same traits. As I mentioned, a child receives one member of each homologous pair from each parent, and as I also mentioned that both males and females have 23 pairs of chromosomes. Now, this is a figure from your book. It is figure 9.1. Please review this figure before moving forward. In body cells, chromosomes occur in pairs called homologous chromosomes. In the human life cycle, in sexual reproducing organisms, refers to all reproductive events that occur from one generation to the next, and understand that it both involves mitosis and meiosis. We've already covered mitosis, which results in a somatic body of cells that are diploid. Meiosis, in fact, reduces the number of chromosomes from diploid to haploid. gametes have only one member from each of the parents of the homologous pair, and spermatogenesis produces sperm in the testes, and oogenesis produces the eggs in the ovaries. This is figure 9.2. Please pause to review this figure in your book. Essentially, meiosis is a part of the gamete production in both males and females. When a haploid sperm fertilizes a haploid egg, the zygote is diploid. So just to recap, in meiosis, chromosome separation occurs twice, and it occurs twice during meiosis 1 and meiosis 2, and we'll talk about that in just a second. And during meiosis 1, homologous chromosomes pairs as tetrads at synapses during crossover where that occurs, and the chromosomes may be referred to as dyads in meiosis 1. Now, meiosis 1 essentially is very similar to mitosis. In meiosis 1, each chromosome has already duplicated, and there are two divisions, meiosis 1 and meiosis 2, period. Please pause now to review meiosis 1 and meiosis 2 in your book. After reviewing meiosis 1 and meiosis 2, take time to compare, to understand the different phases of meiosis and understand how meiosis differs from mitosis. So figure 3 gives you an overview of mitosis, both the first phase and the second phase, and the resultant haploids. Understand the purpose of crossing over, and understand the resultant chromosome makeup after the crossover. Now here's one point I want to make. In meiosis, there are two consecutive nuclear divisions, and in mitosis, there's only one nuclear division. In mitosis, again, like I mentioned, there's only one nuclear division, resulting in two genetically identical daughter cells. In meiosis, there are two consecutive divisions of nuclear material, resulting in 4 daughter cells that are not genetically identical. Meiosis 1 compared to mitosis. Meiosis 1 differs from mitosis in that crossing over occurs at synapses, and the homologous pair separate. Sister chromatids do not separate during meiosis 1, but do so during mitosis. Meiosis 2 compared to mitosis. In meiosis 2 is similar to mitosis in that the sister chromatids separate. However, the resulting 4 daughter cells are haploid. Mitosis there yields 2 daughter cells with the same number of chromosomes as the parent. And mitosis and meiosis occur at different times. Meiosis occurs only in certain times of the life cycle of sexually reproducing animals, and only in specialized tissues that reproduce or that produce gametes for sexual reproduction. Mitosis occurs in all tissues, including embryonic development and during growth and repair.